you for watching Chittarupa Yoga with Laura. Today we're going to do just a basic mat class. All you need is yourself and your mat. Nice safe spot to practice. And we'll do this thing. Be sure if you're watching this video though to subscribe and click the bell. Also leave me comments, let me know what you think. And there's also a link in the description below to my Patreon page, a way of financially supporting me for those of you who can. We're going to begin seated. And just whatever's comfortable, making sure our sit bones are grounded, lengthening our spine. And let's close our eyes and just begin with a few deep cleansing breaths, inhaling through our nose, exhaling through our mouth. Releasing any stress that's in our body and just taking a moment to kind of shake everything out, see how it's feeling today, and just using any modifications that we need to. Let's go ahead and find a three-part breath where we inhale, filling up our belly, expanding open our ribs and lift our heart, and then we exhale, lowering our heart, drawing in our ribs and then our belly. So just continue to inhale belly, ribs, heart, exhaling heart, ribs, and belly. Three-part breath. And we are going to keep things basic today in our yoga class. So let's just begin with some easy breaths, deep breaths. And we'll begin movement at our neck, inhaling our chin up, exhaling chin to chest. Allowing that movement to follow our breath, inhaling up, exhaling down. Allowing our chin to come to our chest, we're going to slowly roll from side to side, nice and slow. Bringing chin back to chest, let's lift up. And we're going to take our legs out in front of us today. Let's exhale, forward fold. And we're going to begin to inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up, exhale, forward. As always, moving with our own breath. Let's sit up from here, taking our legs out wide, moving side to side. So warming up our spine forward and back and then side to side. We're going to finish up with a little twisting. Hopefully get everything warmed up, ready to work. Now let's go ahead and inhale both hands up. We're going to exhale, one hand in front, one behind. Inhale up, keep the spine long. Exhale other way. So the goal is to keep our spine totally stacked, crown of our head reaching to the ceiling. Let's come back to the center for another fold down the center. See how the legs are feeling. And then we're going to flip over to hands and knees. And once we're here, let's extend one leg straight back, opposite hand forward, lifting through our navel. And we'll release down, taking it to the other side. Bringing hands and knees back to the mat. We're going to stay right here today for a moment, turning our elbow creases forward and just doing a few little push-ups right here. Warming up our arms, chest. Let's press back to child's pose. And we're still gonna walk our hands overhead, keeping them out shoulder distance. And let's come forward and we'll do a couple of real push-ups now from a plank. If this is too intense, let's take it back to child's pose. We can always, we're gonna do one more set. If you prefer to do it from hands and knees, take it from hands and knees. This is just a warm-up, so it doesn't have to be a very big push-up. Making our way back to child's pose. Sometimes we might like downward facing dog instead. But let's go ahead wherever we are and start to walk our hands and feet together, standing forward fold. And just taking a moment to rock side to side, maybe holding our elbows. And we'll make our way up to our mountain. And from here, let's inhale up, extended mountain. Reaching for the ceiling, stacking our spine, hugging our navel in and up. And let's sit our hips back into Katasana, chair pose or powerful pose. And flow a little bit here. Inhale up, exhale, sit the hips back. Hands to our thighs, our heart, or just freestyle the arms. Now let's inhale up, exhale, hands to our heart. And just check in with our body for a moment, see how it's feeling. Maybe step our feet out a little wide, circling our hips. Now let's go ahead and find the top edge of our mat. Mountain pose, 3-part breaths. Belly, ribs, and heart. Heart, ribs, and belly. Now let's slide one foot back, lining up our heels and opening up to warrior one. So if our balance is okay, our heels are lined up. We're opening the back leg and our body up to the front corner of our mat. Let's bring our hands down by our side, shrug our shoulders down. We're going to straighten our front leg and hinge forward. Fingertips reaching back behind us. So arms and spine parallel to each other, parallel to the floor, or a little less perhaps. Just kind of finding that spot for our own body. Just looking at our basic yoga poses today. Dropping the same side hand wherever it naturally lands on our leg from here. Opening up the top shoulder, which means the hand can stay down or it can come up, but we don't want to reach it back. We want it to just extend straight out from wherever the shoulder is. So here or even here. We should be able to find our 3-part breath or some kind of deep breath right here. Think about drawing this shoulder back. Depending on our balance, maybe even looking up or not. Let's lift up from here, warrior one. Back to the lunge. And this time we're going to reach back, clasp our hands, and open our chest. Nice deep breaths. And really grounding through our feet, feeling the weight even in both feet, but energy coming up from what is our back foot right now. And we're going to look at adding the back bend if you wish. Either drawing the hands down or taking knuckles into the waist for some support, or just stay up tall without the back bend. Several options. Let's release up long here, full warrior one. And for a moment, let's open up to warrior two, which will be walking this back leg back a little bit for most of us. Gazing down, the hand that's out over our knee. And again, we're just going to look at a few simple, basic poses. Flipping our front palm, reaching past the knee, and then up for reverse warrior. And then bringing it over to our side angle. So this arm can be at our thigh, or the floor, or a block. And again, this arm is the same as it was before. We can reach up, but make sure it's from the extension of where the shoulder is without reaching back, or again, at our hip. We might even take it around our back to remind us to draw that upper shoulder open. And again, looking up if that's comfortable. A little easier in this pose. Let's go ahead and find reverse warrior. We're going to go ahead and take it back to warrior 2, and then warrior 1. And hopefully we're ready to step up to our mountain. Shake everything out. And we're going to do this on the other side. So sliding the other foot straight back, opening ourselves up, warrior 1. So remember, back foot is angled out toward the corner, and so is our body. That helps us take care of the knee of what is now our back leg. Now let's go ahead and bring our hands by our side, pressing back, shoulders toward each other, straightening the front leg and coming halfway forward or less. So we can come all the way parallel to the floor or wherever we're finding. So we are a little higher. Our same side hand is naturally going to land a little higher on the leg. And then we open up to our triangle from here. If possible though, we will start parallel to the floor, opening up here. And again, work on drawing that upper shoulder back. Don't worry about the arm. Nothing special about reaching up. Try looking up or not. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. Let's unwind here. And we'll make our way up to our warrior 1. Now let's go ahead and add that chest opening here. Breathing deeply. And then the optional back bend, if we're feeling it. And let's release from here, full warrior 1 extended up. And we're going to open up to warrior 2. Just kind of exploring some basic poses on this side, flipping the hand, reaching out past the knee and up. Reverse warrior. And then coming over to our side angle. Again, options for this arm. Options for the lower arm. Just kind of finding what works for us today. And let's reverse our warrior again. Coming back to warrior 2. Walking our back foot in. Warrior 1, and stepping up to our mountain. So shake all that out. Take a moment to check in with how the body's feeling, and we're going to take it to some upper body work. So from the top edge of our mat, whichever top edge we're using, inhaling up, let's exhale, forward fold. We're going to step back to one knee and then the other. Now let's go ahead and begin. Very simple right here. Navel lifting up, shoulders stacked over wrists, knees over hips. And we're going to extend one leg back, opposite hand forward. And we've got the front hand turned in, back toes toward the floor. Let's release down from here, square everything up, taking it to the other side. Imagine pushing the walls away with the fingers and heel. And let's release from here, child's pose or maybe downward dog. We are going to do another plank, something where we'll be up on our hands, so keep that in mind. And from whichever pose we're in, we should be able to just shift forward, shoulders over wrists. And here we've got our hips a little forward of our knees if we're on the floor, or lifting up to our full plank. Key thing is we don't want to too far down, but we also don't want to basically be in a downward dog. Plank is called that because it's straight like a plank. And of course we want to start with just a few seconds, build ourselves up over time. Let's go ahead and take a break here. Downward dog or child's pose, or give our wrists a little movement, a little stretch the opposite direction. And let's walk our hands and feet together into that standing forward fold. Shake it all out. Now let's bring ourselves up, and now we're going to balance. So let's just look at our tree pose, the simplest pose in our balancing arsenal. Getting near a wall or something else that we can hold on to just in case. Let's shift our weight to one side, and we want to turn the other foot out as far as we can. Hands wherever we need them for balance. We're going to bring the foot back in, so we have the choice to keep the toes down if we want to do this away from the wall. Or we can place our foot on our standing leg. Just put it below or maybe above if you don't have slippery pants. Be aware of the pants you're wearing. This one I always like to do in shorts because skin on skin is slippery usually. And then we can extend our limbs. We can turn this into a cactus, any kind of tree that you want to be today. It helps to find something just a little in front of you that's not moving to really focus on. Of course, once you start moving the limbs, that causes the trunk to move too. All right, let's release from that, take a little break, and then we'll try the other side. And more than likely, you started with your stronger side, so no expectations on this side. Again, we can keep the toes down. We can take the foot below the knee or above the knee. Just don't press on the knee, okay? We don't want to strain or hurt, that knee. Excellent. Again, try some different variations. And sometimes those variations are just going to happen. All right, let's release from there. Shake that leg out. Now let's stay in the middle of our mat, and we're going to separate our feet just a little bit. We're going to see if we can squat on down to the floor. And we're going to take it little by little, so start in that Katasana, or powerful pose. Hands at the heart, and we're on the thighs. We're going to see how low we can get. If we can get our bottoms to where they're just an inch off the floor, maybe using the floor. Let's take our time. And some of us may get to this point. We can use our hands on the floor in front of us or behind us. Now let's go ahead and just transition to the floor. And let's begin here, both legs out in front. Let's bring one foot in and making sure we're up on those sit bones, relaxing this front foot but pushing forward through the heel. Let's lengthen up tall and let our chest come toward our knee first. This is nose to knee pose, but we want to think about letting our chest go first. Our nose might not even get near there. Here again, we want to do those 3-part breaths or any kind of deep breathing that we can. If we get to a point where we're struggling to breathe, we want to come back up. So let's go ahead and come up tall, lengthen the spine. We're going to take the same side hand as our outstretched leg. Inhale up, and then exhale that hand to the outside of the other leg. Other hand will be up near our bottom to keep our spine stacked in our twist. Let's unwind from here. And now we're going to take this leg out to the side. We're going to take the other hand, reach it up, and side bend over this leg. So the first thing we want to think about is reaching to the ceiling, sliding this hand down. And we can get a lot of opening right here, but if we choose, we can take it deeper by angling this arm out over the leg. So however we feel it, keep pressing this sit bone into the floor. Breathing. And let's lift up. And now we're going to switch sides. So let's take the other leg straight out in front, our other foot into the thigh, pushing through that heel, lengthening up, sandwiching right here. Belly, ribs, heart. And just finding that place where we can still breathe. Backing off a little if we need to. Now let's lift ourselves up, taking that side hand, reaching tall, spine long, exhale across into our twist. Unwinding from here, and let's take this leg out to the side. Other side hand reaching up, sliding this hand down the leg, or angling a little more out over the body. Let's lift up from here, shake it out. So we're going to go ahead and roll on down to the floor now. And we want to make sure to take support underneath one leg, tuck the tailbone, and roll back. And once we're there, let's go ahead and just shake everything out for a moment. Give ourselves a chance to transition. And then we're going to take our feet to the ceiling for a basic hip opener. Crossing one leg over the other like an upside down figure 4, number 4. And then we're going to reach straight out for our thighs and hug our legs in. We never want to push this knee back further than the other leg. We want to keep it in kind of close. Here again, we want to be able to breathe. We should find that 3-part breath. See if we can hug the legs in with each exhale. And let's go ahead and take our feet to the ceiling, still holding onto our thighs. Let's open up our legs, maybe even bring the hands inside to leverage a little more opening here. our feet together. Let's cross the other leg over. Again, reach straight out, hug it in. And just noticing how this side feels compared to the other. They are usually different. Not always, but usually. Let's release the legs up one more time. Find our V. And then we'll hug our knees. Shake it out, rock. And then we're going to bring our feet to the floor, hands to the floor as well. We want to walk back until we can touch our fingertips and our heels. And then from here, we'll press the heels into the floor, lift our hips up to our bridge. Definitely finding our 3-part breath right here. Let's lower our hips down and hug our knees in. We also want to start squeezing our knees into each other, opening our arms wide. And we're just going to drop the knees over to one side. Simple, easy twist. Now, if we have a blanket or something, we can put underneath that bottom knee or between the knees, a pillow or a block, if you want. And let's just breathe right here. Our breath always feels a little weird in a twist. And let's come back up. We'll take our legs down the floor this time, arms overhead, so we can push our hands and feet away from each other, lengthening our spine, straightening and stretching our whole body. And then we will hug our knees. Again, glue the knees together, opening our arms. And let's lower to the other side, just a simple lower over. Propping as necessary here as well. Breathing. Let's bring our knees back up to the center, shake everything out, and then we're going to do some final relaxation. We always want to end in what's called Shavasana, or corpse pose. But this is also called final relaxation. We want to balance our movement with rest. So let's just find a spot that's comfortable. Begin to release our arms and legs. Since this is a mat yoga class, we're doing this on the floor. Just feeling the support of the floor underneath us. Softening our belly and chest so that our breath just comes naturally. Relaxing our neck. And just making sure to soften in our face. So we're going to hang out here for a few moments, being as still as possible. Feel free to pause the video and take it a bit longer. when we are ready to come out, and the longer you stay in, the longer you want to take to come out. We want to start with movement at our fingers and toes. Small movement up the arms and legs to bigger movement up to the rest of the body. So just moving whatever way we're feeling today. And as we're ready, we can hug our knees and roll over to one side. We always want to take at least 3 breaths here. The longer we've been on the floor, the longer we want to take to get up. So take maybe 5 breaths at that point, or even 10. After we've taken at least 3 though, we can use our top hand to push up. And just come back to that comfortable seat that we started in. Sitting up tall, closing our eyes. And just checking in again with how our body's feeling. Let's take a couple of 3-part breaths. Let's go ahead and take our next breath together. Inhaling, hands up. Exhaling, hands to our heart. Thank you for joining me today. As always, please do check out the links in the description below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Namaste.